you're gonna know who did what. You think you're gonna know what happened, but that's not the case at all. It's just a complete circle. Everything.
I am Shannon Green, trainer at Effect Fitness. Stay tuned for my video right here on Social Goals.
Say one thing before we started the show too. You're not having a good time. If you're not having a good time, you're wasting your time. We say that every night.
Situationships, and all things. Thank you so much.
Daddy Yum Yum, 265 gallons of pure milk chocolate. And you are watching the Social Goals.
It evolved. So being fully transparent, when I got started coaching, I knew that I wanted to be an impact on my hometown in the arena of coaching. But that's the good answer. That's the good side. That's coming out and just sharing and saying, yeah, man, I want to impact, kids, and I want to make a difference and all that stuff. But you know what? Let me go ahead and be transparent. For me, even though I knew I wanted to help kids, what I had to struggle with was being more focused on proving that I could coach. And so saying all the right things, but not living all the right things. And so, by saying that, I have to open up and say that because, a lot of times, of course, we get on here, I'm not trying to claim to be the expert, but I'm definitely a person that wants to help. But man, I had to overcome myself and, being worried about how I looked as a coach and really, really, really focusing on what my players needed from me. And so what happens is the number one thing that we got to make sure is that we love the game and then we love the players. So when we say why coach, you got to love the game. So I love basketball. I do. But what I had to learn to do was learn to love my players more than the game. And so when that lesson came into fruition for me after a couple of years in the game and really understanding that my purpose for coaching was not to prove that I can coach, but to love the players and to give them the best version of myself and what they needed for life, that's when I saw some major changes, so I help, with the experiences that I've had, in my life. And I'll fast forward to that point when I got to the coaching sanctuary, like that's when I started to focus on, hey, man, there are a lot of coaches who I get phone calls and texts and emails from all the time now, man, who just need help. Our coaching community, man, our coaching fraternity and sorority is it's a sacred ground that gets taken for granted a lot. And the journey that I've been on, man, I had some tests and trials that happened a few years ago that could have took me and my family out of here. And, what wound up happening is just doing therapy and counseling and, pulling away for a little while, understanding my role first as a husband and as a father and then as a coach. And so going up to the point of Coach's Sanctuary is like during that summertime, it just hit me one day. It was like, hey, Coach's Sanctuary, you know, a place of solace, a place of peace, a place to come for coaches to come and talk about our issues and what we deal with, you know, in a safe space. And so, man, I just started, you know, I got in front of a camera and started talking, you know, and it turned into a pretty good thing. Got a lot of good feedback off of it. And so now, just to tell you what it is now, I took a break from it to rebrand, because the word sanctuary is something that, of course, you know, it can be a turnoff to some people because they don't know what it is. Everybody's not churched, you know what I'm saying? That's just being straight up.
Right.
You know, so now when I come back and rebrand here, it'll be called the Coach's Code. And I'll get into that a little later on. But the Coach's Sanctuary definitely just an opportunity just to have to talk about things that us coaches go through, how to handle situations, how to change our perspective in some areas of what we do. And it just went from there. And a lot of people ask me, when am I doing it again? And, you know, stuff like that. But I guess I'll throw this plug in for those of you that's seen over the last couple of weeks. The Coach's Sanctuary has now turned into a book series, a series of ebooks. It's the Coach's Code Library. I launched the first one 2 weeks ago. It's called Setting the Foundation for Your Athletics Program. And so that's just going to kickstart. I already have the books written, so they'll be launching as time goes on. You should see ads and stuff popping up on Facebook and Instagram and things. So, you know, my focus is for coaches. My focus is for coaches to be focused on prioritizing our well-being more than we do prioritizing winning. But winning is a result of prioritizing our well-being. And so it's already out. Y'all be looking forward. And I know it'll be a blessing to anybody who takes a look. It's not just for coaches. I'm telling you, anybody in a leadership role, there's a lot of principles in there that can help you out.
All right, y'all. See, he already dropping dimes. You know, he already kind of get into it. And like I say, this is the person that I know, and he's always been this way since high school. Major shout out to Booker T. Washington High School.
98.
And for those that are watching now, they can see us on our platforms on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, on our website, www.socialcoach.org. And I'd like to once again reintroduce Mr. Eddie Hamilton. He is a coach, speaker, and an author. And there's other titles to that. So for those that are watching, we appreciate you, man. Like I said, we love you, appreciate you, you know, for everything you're doing, man. So since now, not only can they hear you on the radio, they can see you. So tell us, who is Eddie Hamilton? And that's Junior, right?
Yeah, I mean, literally on paper it's not Junior, but yeah, it's Eddie Jr.
Okay.
It's Eddie Jr. That's how I'm known around town. Eddie Jr. Proud, and I wear it proud.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so, man, you know, for me, it's crazy because I'm still on the journey of still knowing, you know, even who I am, you know. I'm involved in a lot of things, kind of a jack of all trades, you know. Okay. Even though coaching is the thing that I'm most passionate about as far as my career goes. I'm also a minister in my church. I play the piano and drums in my church. Like I said, husband and father. Been coaching now. This is year 19 that I'm in right now. I'm currently the assistant coach at Serenity College. Shout out to Coach Dorsey. I appreciate him for the opportunity. And now, like I said, an author now. I've been speaking now for a few years. But just me as a person, I'm a straight shooter. You know, I'm a straight shooter. I'm just a person that I like truth. And sometimes you'll see me, I'll make a hashtag that says absolute truth. I do believe in that. And the thing I had to learn was that I didn't have to be perfect to believe in truth. Because we're human, we're fallible, we make mistakes, we make bad decisions. But one thing I will do is I'll fess up, you know. And so as a person, I just like being straight up, being honest, and not beating around the bush when it comes down to conducting business and building relationships. And, you know, and sometimes that can come off because I just don't believe in gray areas, you know. So that's the way I coach. That's the way I communicate, you know. I like to punch stuff right in the gut. And that's the kind of person I am. And so my biggest thing is just,
I do love people. I love helping people. It's just something that's a nature of mine, even to a detriment. You know, there have been relationships that hurt because, you know, I feel like I was giving more than I was getting. And that's okay, because I do it from the heart. So that's me as a person. You know, as a coach, you know, I might not have, you know, a big budget to buy all my guys shoes and gear and all this kind of stuff here, man, but I give them my heart. I just ran into one of my former students tonight. He owns an electrician company. I was like, wow, you know, just tonight. So I'm at the gas station. And another thing that I do is I own rental property and I flip houses. So, you know, I was like, dude, I'm gonna get some contracts with you, you know, so I'm proud of that, you know, because of the relationship. And he was saying, you know, thank me for the things, the lessons and stuff that he learned, you know, during the time he was with me. So me as a person, man, I'm a straight shooter. I'm a straight shooter. I like to be straight up, like to be honest. Anything I say behind closed doors, I can say in open.
Okay.
I can talk 2 or 3 times, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because, you know, I have no reason to lie about, you know, who I am as a person and, you know, and what I believe in, you know. And the foundation of all of that, like I said, even though we're human, we make mistakes, make bad decisions and stuff sometimes, but the foundation is Jesus Christ. Have to throw that, we sling that around a lot, but I do believe in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ being the reason why the way I am, and continuing to evolve and grow and learn more, and try to give my best at everything that I do.
All right. So for those that are watching and listening, we getting to know a little bit more about Eddie Hampton. I'm getting to learn things that I don't know about him. All right, man. So can you just kind of give us the timeline as far as your coaching experience?
Okay.
Where did it start? And like say you went from high school to college. Mm-hmm. Did you coach below high school as well before?
Middle school.
Okay, well we want to get that. How did that start? Like what motivated the player at Booker T. Washington High School to become the coach? What motivated him, man, and who were some influences?
Okay, so, man, I'll go back to one of the things I have to throw in here is that in order to coach high school basketball, you do have to be a certified teacher. So I had about 3 teachers in high school. About 3 teachers in high school. I think it was Miss Crawford. Remember Miss Crawford?
Michelle Crawford.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mom or daughter?
The daughter.
Okay, Cheryl Crawford.
She was one. It was Miss Holmes, the mother.
Geometry teacher?
Yes, Mrs. Holmes. Now, I think she was advanced math.
Okay, advanced math, surely was.
Yes.
Oh, Simone was
the daughter, yeah.
Right.
She was another. And, you know, who said to me in high school that I would be a good educator. And, you know, and I'm like, I never teach school. you know, that's not what I want to do. But so when I went to college, to play ball in Jackson, Mississippi at Belhaven College. I followed my cousin down. I went down there and tried out. The coach liked me, got a chance. And when I got there, the major that I chose was computer information systems, which is the next phase of computer science. Okay. And get into the programming. And I just chose it blindly. You know, my dad was always on computers. You know, he worked in accounting and bookkeeping. And, you know, I just like, okay, well, let's try this computer thing. And so I went to college, took the first introductory course, and I hated it. I mean, I hated it, man. So when I went to school to play basketball, and I actually got hurt probably about 3-4 weeks before the season started. And in that situation, what's funny is that I spent the summer working out with my cousin, who some people know here locally. He's Pastor Deidris Lewis, my cousin. Okay. At Unity Church here locally, and man, he was going pro till he tore his knee up. And but I went and followed him, and I felt real good about myself, man. I gained weight, was playing well in practice, you know, and got to a point where coach asked me to red shirt, and I was like, no, I'm here to play. You know, I didn't come here to sit out. And what ended up happening is about 2 or 3 weeks before the season started, had an injury in practice. I tore ligaments up in my left foot, and I was forced to red shirt. And so when that happened, man, it was almost a depression. You know, I'd always played ball, and, you know, the team was traveling, I had to stay, and so I wound up going home for the break, for the Christmas holiday, and I was at, you know, a legendary tournament they call the Bossier Tournament here in Bossier City. Bossier Tournament is one of the oldest, most prestigious tournaments here in the state of Louisiana. And I was there with my dad, and we were watching the game, and I don't remember who was playing, and I don't remember who the kid was. I just remember sitting up there with my dad, and I pulled one of the kids to the side. He was going to the locker room, and it was just something I saw on the court. And I just, hey man, if you do this, try this out, you know, and see how it worked for you. But he wound up winning the game, and I'm telling you, I do not remember this kid. It's almost like a, you know, like a fantasy.
Right.
And they came out and won the game, and the kid thanked me. And I looked at my dad, and I told my dad in that moment, Dad, I want to be a basketball coach. That's how it happened.
Okay.
And he was like, son, whatever it takes, whatever you want to do, I support you. I'm with you. And so I transferred and left Belhaven, and I transferred to Northwestern State University in Natchitoches, Louisiana, 2003, class 2003 with honors.
Okay.
And so when I got there, my plan was I was going to try out for the basketball team when Coach Mike McConaughey took over, because I knew him, and I was going to try out, man, but I got away from basketball for so long at competitive level. And I started, you know, I play music, so I started traveling, playing music and stuff for different choirs and stuff like that, and started making a little money. And I was done. I was done playing. Started playing intramural ball. Started taking my classes, you know, for PE and health, you know, with emphasis just thinking I want to be a coach. And then I got an opportunity to work with Northwestern's women's team as like a student manager. So I practiced with them, but I also got a chance to like sit in some coaches meeting. That was Coach James Smith, and that's how, and Jennifer Graff, who's now at Troy University as an assistant. So I got a chance to be around. That was my first time being around as a coach, and really kind of seeing how things are organized and structured and things like that. And so it was funny because my last semester of school, you know, it hit me. I was like, man, I'm about to become a school teacher. Like, that's the part that it's like, I just want to coach. Like, man, I'm gonna be a school teacher, you know? But I had to do that to be a coach. And I never really had like this vision of anything else besides just coming back home and coaching. You know, I wasn't thinking about college. I wasn't thinking about pro or anything like that, man. It's just, I wanted to come home and try to see if I can build something special. So after I finished school, or not after I finished school, during school, my last semester, I was able to be, you know, kind of like a graduate assistant. I was an intern at Lakeview High School in Campton, Louisiana, which is Natchitoches Parish, legendary school there. And there I got a chance to join, and that team went 41-0 and won a 2A state championship over. And one of the notable players that they had to play against during that time was Glenn Big Baby Davis at University High in Baton Rouge.
Right.
He was a junior that year. And so the head coach now at Captain Shreve, Charles Corey Deans, that's how he and I met, just like a little brother to me. He's building a special program there at Captain Shreve right now. So what happened is that's where we met each other, and I got a chance to see championship level basketball, championship level practices, guys that were focused, even overcoming adversity, fighting with each other, and crazy stuff on campus and sticking together. And so that's been stuck in my head. And it's like, man, I want to build something just like this in my hometown. And so, you know, with that, man, you know, just to fast forward through the others, man, I got a chance. I got a job at Natchitoches Junior High. I coached football and track there, and did that for a year. And then there was another school in Natchitoches Parish called Clucherville on the south end. It was an elementary middle school, but I got a chance to go there and be a head coach. I was over basketball, baseball, and track for 1 year. And this was the next year, I was there for 1 year, and that next year is when we got hit with Katrina. And during that time frame, because of some bad financial choices as a young man, I quit coaching, and I sold cars for a couple of years. Okay. Right there in Natchitoches, and then I came to Shreveport and sold for a little while. So, you know, because of my debt that I got into selling cars, man, once I paid off those debts, you know, it's like the drive to sell cars was over with because I was there to pay off the debt. And when I paid it off, man, my sales went down, and it's like, man, I still want to coach.
Right.
You know, wife and I talked, man. So I was able to come back into Natchitoches Parish, go back into the school system, work at the alternative school when I got a chance to assist at Natchitoches Central. And that was just for a semester, one semester, because the coach at Lakeview, Coach Mac Braxton, the legend, state championship coach there, who also was a draftee of Chicago Bulls. He's also a legendary scorer, played at Paul Quinn College in Dallas. You know, he the one that gave me a chance, man. He passed. And when he passed, the guy that they had in place was not certified yet. And so the principal there, who knew me, we worked together at the junior high school. And man, he gave me a call. It was like, look, I need a coach. It's the middle of the season. And I was like, yes. So I got a chance to be a head coach at the high school level. I think I was only 27 years old with no high school head coaching experience, just a little bit of junior high. And, you know, was there for a couple of years. And then from that point, we had a new administrator come in, and I left, and I came back home. And it was just time for us to come home, man. So when I came back home, I took the job at Bethune Middle School. And, you know, what was fun about that is that, you know, the history there had some great players. You know, team wasn't really good over the last couple of years, you know, and I got a chance to come in, man. And that's where I started to really figure out who I was as a coach. Okay. That's where I started to kind of start figuring it out, you know, at Bethune. And we took a team, man, of just a band of misfits. And we almost went to city that year. And I don't even know if they had I don't think they won like a couple of games maybe over the last 2 or 3 years. And man, took a team there and coached football as well. I was the athletic coordinator, did that. Then from Bethune, they had something called a surplus. Since I was a new teacher, they had to move teachers around in Caddo Parish. There was a lot of stuff going on. That was when Dr. Dawkins was here. And so so I had to get released from there just because I was one of the newer teachers. The principal wanted me to stay, you know, because it wasn't just basketball, man. We had kids that were honor students. You know, we dressed them up real nice, put them in vests and khakis, and, you know, we walked in the gyms clean, you know, just did everything we could, man, to have them have some pride, you know, and all of those kids wound up doing really well. One of the stories from that team was one of the players that we had on that team. We actually kicked him off the team, man, because he didn't want to act right, and he wrote a letter, you know, asking to get back on the team, and we gave him another opportunity. He wound up leading us in steals, second leading scorer, and he graduated middle school with a 3.6 GPA. And this was a kid that was just like, they was done with him. But because the standard was there, and that's when I started to really understand how important it was that, you know, it's not about talent. You know, it's not just about that, it's about developing character. And that child went on to do pretty well when he went to high school. And so from there, got surplus out of Bethune, went to Southwood for 1 year as an assistant coach under Coach Norm Pico. He called and gave me an opportunity there for 1 season. And from that point, that's when I got my opportunity. The opportunity that literally changed my life. And it was at Fair Park High School. Okay. Our arch nemesis. Right. Growing up as kids. Right. Wound up being the place that I believe that's where I started to become Coach Eddie Hamilton. And it was tough. Coming in after a legend, Ron Preston. The blessing about it was with Coach Preston, he and my dad were neighbors. So I grew up right across the street from Coach Preston. Okay. And so when I got the job there, I had a chance to sit down and talk with him, you know, and that was big, you know, to be able to have access to somebody who knew how to do it. A state champion, pro athletes come through his program. You know, he and a few other coaches that were available at the time. But, you know, it was a hard job. I'm telling you right now, Darren, it's funny because when I got the job, man, that first year or two, people would come to the gym in the games saying, "We want Preston. We want Preston." I mean, that's how it was. That's how tough it was, man, because I had to build my own style. I had to do it my way. I had to figure out how I wanted to build a program, and it wasn't for me to do it any other way. You know, and he was one of my biggest cheerleaders at it. You know, it's like, man, look, you got to do it the way you want to do it. You know, and so that always happens. You know, you kind of rub some people the wrong way here and there. That's okay. You know, it's okay. But I'll say this, it went from we want Preston to it was just a lot of pride, man. We turned that thing around. I was there for 6 years. And I call that probably the most pivotal 6 years of my life, probably the best 6 years of my life. It was into a point I wanted to leave. I tried to apply for other jobs and everything, but my mother-in-law pulled me to the side one day and just talked to me. She said, God is not going to open up any other doors for you until he's done with you there. And so while I was at Fair Park, it wasn't even about it just wasn't about the basketball. It wasn't about the situation. It wasn't about anything else. It was me. My marriage had a trying time. You know, my son was born during that time frame. I was so stressed by my job and, you know, just the duties of a husband and the church. I was all this stuff, man, and I found myself in this black hole where I literally thought I was losing my mind, man. But I needed that time frame and the challenges that I had, man, through therapy, through counseling, you know, through a supportive wife during that time, supportive parents and in-laws, and man, you know, before you know it, when I changed, when I allowed the love of Jesus Christ to come in my heart for real and not just talk about it, but really, really, really let him in. That was the question of my father-in-law, who's my pastor, Pastor Doyle Adams at Elizabeth Baptist Church, when he asked me, have I ever allowed Jesus in my heart? Literally, man, growing up in church there, and I had never got asked that question, ever. I had never heard, you know, get filled with the Holy Ghost, get saved, all this kind of stuff here, but the question was, have I ever let him in my heart? And March 23rd of 2014, that's when it was like, okay, that's what this is supposed to be. And from that point, when I changed, then an immediate response to that was, that's when you started to see what you saw as Fair Park. That program that changed and turned around and started winning district and making runs in the playoffs, that's when it started happening. When I changed. Not the kids, not the school, not the community, not anybody else. When I dealt with me and I started looking at myself and the areas that I needed to get to change. I ain't perfect now, you know what I'm saying? But it's self-awareness and not finger pointing and not looking at around at situations and circumstances around me. If this change, I'll do better. If that change, no, I needed to change my perception and my perspective right where I was. And Fair Park turned into like a kingdom to me. Like it was a special place, man. And for the next 4 years, the last 4 years there, we were district runner-up in 14, district champion in 2015, which was special because Huntington had run the district for 10 straight years. We were the first ones to beat Huntington for a district championship. Coach Mac Jones, I call him Uncle Mac, him and my dad are frat brothers. And so that was the first district title that we beat Huntington out for. And then the next year we were runner-up again. And the last year before we closed, we beat Bossier and Bossier and Woodlawn and Bossier had won district for like 11 straight years because they were in 3A. And they came going back and forth when they came back to 4A with Coach Jeremiah Williams, who works at the school board now in Bossier Parish. He's like a big brother to me, you know. And so during that time frame, we saw the program just change, man. And it changed. It felt like it changed the community, you know. Working there at the school, man, it was just a unique situation. To this very day, everybody I know that worked at Fair Park, we all say we miss it. You know, we miss it, man. Special time. And you know, so Fair Park, man, that last year, you know, we fell short. You know, we lost to Woodlawn in the quarterfinals. We thought that was a special year for us to go to state. We fell short, man. And Fair Park closed as a high school. And so from that point, went on back to Southwood High School as the head coach. So going to Southwood was something that when I left, it was always kind of nudged and said to me, man, look, if things change here, we want you back. And had opportunity to go to other places, but that would just feel like it was the right place. So in that 3 years, you know, we had a special run there as well. Of course, you know, never getting that chance to really get to a state championship like I wanted to, but that 3 years made some special relationships. Got some kids out of that program that went on to college and play ball. doing well with them, for themselves. Very, very proud of them. Some names that a lot of y'all know out there that are now playing college ball. Some graduated. One notable name I will throw out, who I'll say he's the first pro basketball player that I've coached, Latravian Black. He's in Portugal right now. He was with me at Fair Park and at Southwood, and he's now in Portugal playing. And so that's just one name I'll throw out. You know, there's several other guys that are finishing up school right now. Some are already done, but I'll throw that out because he stands alone as the first pro athlete that I was able to coach, and we're still very close. Very proud of him. So from Southwood, man, you know, my wife and I, you know, we were living in Blanchard at the time. We lived there for 9 years. We go to church in Benton, and we just wanted to move to Bossier. Get my son in just a, you know, kind of a different environment, and be closer to the church. And so, and the airline job came open. And what's funny is that, and I'll answer this for those that wonder why. When I took the airline job, I left a great situation at Southwood as far as players go. But I have to throw this out here, man, as a high school coach and as coach period, like, you know, we can't chase the kids. We got to make the decision that's best for our household. In Caddo, high school gets out at 4 o'clock and practices after school. So on a regular night, I'm getting home 6:30, 7 o'clock on a non-game night, and I had a young son, you know. In Bossier Parish, the bell rings at 2:25, and you have practice during school. So about 3 o'clock, day's done. And the situation is the reason why I took the airline job. I took it because for my family, it fit. Because my mentor, rest his soul, Dave Bryant, who's somebody I just been tight with for a long time. He's one of the coaches, or I say the one coach that over the course of my career since I moved back home, he just stuck to me. He checked on me as much as I checked on him. And to this very day, his widow, Sandra Bryant, we talk, I mean, almost every week, and text each other and check on each other. I told her, I said, you got a nephew now. And also his sister, legendary coach Sheila Dupree, who won state championships at Plain Dealing, somebody else who I keep in contact. We was texting each other today, like we keep in contact. And their family just embraced me. But one of the things that he always talked to me about was family. You know, he was able to tell me from his personal experiences, just things that, hey, if I would go back, I would do this different and that different. And I listened. And the bottom line is that, let's be honest, man, for us as coaches, you know, at the high school level, unless we were going to college or going to pro, I mean, you know, we don't make big salaries, you know, enough to take care of our household. So, you know, you got to find a situation that fits your family. And the schedule in Bossier Parish, it fit my family. My son was able to get on the bus from airline, ride in to call me every day, get on the bus from airline, get bus to his school, and after school, when I'm done with practice, get bus right back to me. So every day at 4 o'clock, my son and I was headed home. And it was that way for the last 3 years. He's in middle school now, so now he's riding the bus, but I still get home 4 o'clock. We're home before I go to practice at seminary. And that was the reason why I took the airline job. So even though I had dreams and aspirations of trying to take it to the next level, we did. The program, you know, started to resurge. A lot of vibrant history at Airline High School. I got a chance to build relationships with guys like Larry Robinson, Coach Byron Smith, you know, Russell Taylor, just different guys through the airline community. Even Coach Mike McConaughey, I got a chance to build some relationships. And then the gentleman that was probably one of the most instrumental, Coach Ronnie Coker, who passed from cancer. We got real tight during that time frame as well. So I had some really good relationships that got built there. And so, you know, and airline basketball is doing really well right now under the leadership of my wife's cousin, Cedric Washington, somebody who I love and care about, man. He's doing a good job, you know, and, you know, looking forward to seeing those guys continue to grow. But the time just came, you know, for me to, I didn't understand. but it was time for me to move forward. And when I let it go at Airline, I got the phone call from from Coach Dorsey, somebody who we built a relationship over the last few years just through basketball. And one of my players did go play with him for a year. He has recruited some of my players over the years, and just a mutual respect for each other. And so now here it is. He's helped to open a door for me to a life that I never really just thought about. I mean, people have mentioned, like, you thinking about college? You want to go to college? I'm like, no. And people don't know I actually applied and interviewed for the Bipsy job when it came open a few years ago. Out of 88 applicants, I made it to the top 10. That was a confidence builder.
Right.
And, you know, the gentleman that took over, he's no longer there. He's at ETBU now. You know, a great guy, came in and was able to get Bipsy on the right track. And he's moved on, and now it's under Coach Anglin, who's doing an excellent job. But for me, the situation I'm in right now, it's giving me a chance to transition. Not having the stress of being a head coach, just all the duties it comes with. Even my son can recognize I'm a little more laid back these days. And, you know, now getting a chance to see how the college life is, to see how it works, you know. And from this point, I don't know what's next. I don't know what's next when it comes down to me coaching. But this journey that I've been on over the last, it's been 19 years as a head coach. It was 15 years, but these last 18 years, I'm in year 19. When I tell you, man, I've learned so much about our profession. You know, it's crazy because I'll throw this in and I'll stop here and let you interject at this point. But for us as coaches, man, you know, to people, we're not human beings. We're not humans. The things that coaches endure, they kind of get brushed over because we're looked at, okay, it's a position, it's a job. But to people, man, we're not humans. And that's how, up to this point, where now the Coaches Sanctuary has now been rebranded to the Coaches Code. I've literally written the curriculum. It's done for coaches on prioritizing our own well-being and stress management and work-life balance in order for us to still, we can, you know, focus on that first, then winning, taking care of ourselves first, and then prioritizing that and working sports around us instead of us working ourselves around sports. As much as we love our kids and what we do for them, we're not humans. The stuff that is said, the stuff that's done, the opinions, the thoughts, the things that's yelled out, the things that's threatened, and all those different things, man, that coaches go through. I feel like now I'm becoming an advocate for the coaching community, for us to be able to start having these conversations and help with the things I've learned over the years. I literally have it in book form now. Written 10 ebooks that was birthed out of the podcast. They're out right now. One time the curriculum, getting ready to start doing professional developments in schools, even rec centers for their volunteer coaches. Because right now it's a time that we need to have where coaches that are coming into the profession, they're going to need a lot of help understanding how to handle today's parent and today's student athlete, because it's different. It's different, man. This is a different day right now. You know, now kids are making money with NIL, so that's a different mode of mentality. You know, then social media, everybody has clips and highlight reels and different things, and everybody's being told that they can make it to the next level. But the truth is, the highest level of basketball, it's 400 million out of 8 billion people. It's 400 million out of 8 billion people on earth. I gotta keep saying it, 400 million. That's the NBA. I don't know the number for the WNBA. So those are two highest levels.
Right.
And when it comes to football, 1,200 million, not including practice squad, 1,200 out of 8 billion people. And I'm not gonna go into the other numbers, but like that number is so astronomical. You know, that for coaches, for us right now, the balance of, you know, helping the child achieve their dreams and goals, but also helping them to see what is going to happen when it stops. So you don't tell them you're not going to make it. You just say, hey, what are you going to do when it stops? And that's a question that we have to get our student athletes centered on that, yeah, okay, so hey, you're going pro, cool. I want to help you get there. But when it stops, who are you? What are you going to do with yourself? So after you're done being a pro athlete, what's next? Because you don't want to tell them you're not going to make it, because you never know.
Right.
You don't know who's going to turn the corner. You have no clue. But and that's kind of going into another direction. So I just kind of let you interject at this point, and we'll go from there. But that's kind of just flowed into it because, like I said, our coaching community right now, man, man, it's no different right now than being a police officer, fireman, frontline workers. It's no different. It's no different at all. I think this time last year, had a gentleman who got shot and killed after a 9-year-old football game right in Dallas, Texas. All because of maybe the son's playing time. Another young lady, it was in Texas as well, where tried to jump on the coach. I mean, another coach in Michigan about 2 or 3 years ago won a state championship and quit. Couldn't take it anymore. Lady in Oklahoma just 2 days ago, I think I posted it in my stories. She's assistant principal, basketball coach, parents griping about whatever it was. Resigned. I'm done. Don't want to do it anymore. And that's just stories, man. And so this life that we live as coaches, man, like, we're human beings, man. We have families. We got bills.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we're doing the best that we can with what we have. And we do have kids' best interests at hand. Yeah, it's some jack legs out there. Some guys ain't no good. It's in every profession. That's everywhere. But when you're trying to do it with integrity, trying to do it with character, yeah, you're gonna make mistakes and make some bad decisions. Yes, But ultimately, man, my number one goal as a boys coach is I want guys to leave my program who want to be committed to a family, because that's just something that our society is missing.
That's deep.
I want young men to want to lead a family. And I mean, like, that sounds so simple, but just think about the music, the videos, the things, the culture, what's popular right now, pop culture. We're talking about men leading families. That'll change the world in itself, just by having men who are committed to their families. And that's my number one goal. Do I want to win? Yep. Have I won? Yes. I don't have any state championships. You got to have a lot of talent to win the state championships. I hadn't had loads of talent over the years. I just find gritty, hard-working kids who are willing to do the dirty work. And that's what I've built my programs off of. And, so now I'm at the college level. Like I said, I don't know what's next. I don't know if I'm going to keep going or whatever, but I'm going to keep being that way. Because now there are several stories of young men now that I've coached and taught who are leading families. Husbands, not just, daddies, but husbands leading families. Because that's our conversation. That's the kind of stuff we talk about in the locker room and before and after games. And so, I challenge my guys. I always say, never sacrifice character for talent. Don't sacrifice character for talent. Have I been guilty of that? Yes. Have other coaches been guilty of it? Yes. We look at the talent and get caught up in it. But then developing the character, that's the hard part. It's hard. It's hard to get somebody that's loaded with talent, to get them to understand how important that the development of their character is, so that when their talent gets them to a certain place, their character can keep them there, So,
sir.
Yep. So I'm going to pause here, let you interject.
All right.
Yeah.
So before we start talking about your book, and like I say, you written several ebooks, but we want to talk about this one in particular that there's been a lot of buzz on social media. And you've actually kind of spoke on it about the community and it being bigger than basketball. Mm-hmm. So right now, what the hot topic is. It's surrounding the Golden State Warriors, and in particular, Draymond Green. Mm-hmm. So I want to ask you, how do you feel about that situation as a player and now as a coach? How do you feel about that?
Man, it's been a long time since I've been a player. but as a player, honestly, I mean, this goes back to our days. You know, I go back to days we was at Booker T. I mean, when we had guys like that, man, we tried to galvanize them, get around them, you know? And ultimately, you and I both know, out on the football field where you were, we did lose some guys. But it was their choices. But there were some guys that turned it around because they really wanted to be a part of what we were doing. And so when you talk about as a player, it's just a matter of the accountability. You know, it's asking the right questions. You know, letting the guy know, hey man, we don't, you know, we need you, you know, and you got to care about us enough to stop having these moments. I'm sure somebody has said that at some point in time. You know, it's you know, because the dynamic of their team has changed. When Draymond was younger, you had some older players on the team that came off the bench that probably were the ones that helped keep him in check. But now he's the older guy now. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. And then at the same time, you know, it's a different type of, you don't know what kind of pressure he's putting himself under. I'm the 4-time champion. I'm the enforcer for this team. You know, we're not winning right now. We don't know. We don't know what's going on in his personal life. We don't know those things. And those things do affect you. I mean, I'm guilty of mishandling my team when I had personal stuff going on. You see what I'm saying? So now as a coach, you know, for me, you know, Steve Kerr at the pro level is different, man, because those guys are making more money than you. And those guys, people are coming there, those seats are filled, and those billions of dollars are being made because those players are there. So that right there, I don't understand. I know what I would do as a high school coach because I've done it. I've lost great players because they didn't want to conform to what the standard was for the team, you know? So the difference there at the pro level is that, okay, he making $100 million, the coach make 10. That's a different conversation. But when it comes down to it, the players, I feel like the players, it's this saying that says a player-led team is better than a coach-led team. When the players are the ones that uphold the standard, it makes everything flow that much easier. So the coach sets the standard, the players keep it. And so, you know, I don't know what's going on in that locker room. I just have no clue. I don't know, man. But like I said, as a high school coach or even as a college coach, I know, you know, the situation would be a whole lot different from how many times he's gotten away with that. Right. You know, he probably wouldn't have got to this point because we'd have dealt with that a long time ago. But as a pro coach, like I said, man, those dollars running the whole show. But I ultimately hope that he's okay, and that if it's therapy, counseling, whatever, so he can peel back the layers and find out what's going on with himself. I think that's the biggest thing right now. Right now, I mean, it's, you know, mental health is a big thing right now, and it's real. I mean, man, I go to therapy and counseling, you know, and it's just something that, you know, hopefully they're able to help him, Draymond the person, not Draymond the athlete. But I will say this, whatever that is, I think the safe is that he accepts the help over time. I think we lose the edgy Draymond, what made him, you know, the guy who he is. You know, like you look at Tiger Woods after his situation that he had, whatever that focus was at that time frame, he's still playing with it. He's never played the way that he did before. You know, so you know, those situations, man, you just don't know how that stuff drives and drives and drives. So ultimately, man, we hope that Draymond is okay, that he finds out a lot about himself and deal with some things, you know?
All right.
Yeah.
All right, man. So in closing, you know, before we wrap up this session, y'all, he's dropping nuggets. This is information, and we're going to get into his latest ebook, Setting the Foundation for Your Athletics Program. Okay. Now, you know, you have wrote several ebooks. Mm-hmm. Now, what is different about this one? Is it more informative? What is it about this?
So this is the first one.
Okay.
So the ebooks were birthed out of the podcast I did last year. So I basically took those podcasts and broke them down into books. And eventually there'll be courses as well.
Okay.
Right now, the curriculum that I do have now is called the Coach's Code, and it's empowering coaches to prioritize their well-being. So this book is the first of a library I have. I literally have 10 books in this series. So this is the first one. So it's called Setting the Foundation for Your Athletics Program. So what this does is it gives you an outline on what things you need to focus on when you are starting off as a coach. Even if you've been coaching for a long time, it gets you to go back and kind of reset yourself. Because the bottom line is the reason why I gave it the titles, because with the foundation, what starts it off is your vision. Every decision that you make, I had a coach tell me this, is that I got to make every decision for my program based on the future. I have to, because if I want it to be sustaining, I can't make decisions now to kind of, rig it, just to get by this day, or just get by this week, or just get by for this season. I have to make sure the decisions that I'm making is based on where I see the program being, for years down the line. So that means I cannot sacrifice character for talent. Now, does that happen? Yes. We make mistakes, we do. But the breakdown in this book, it starts off with vision. Then it gets into about who I see myself as a coach. Like, I have to know who I am as a person and what I value, because I need that to be my foundation for my decision making. So what this book does, it gives a little bit of my personal, journey, but it also outlines some of those things too. Because when I know what vision I want my program to be, what I see it as, and then when I understand who I am and what I bring to the table, then now everything else that comes after that is only based on my vision, not other people's opinion, not other people's thoughts. Nobody can come in and plug and play, not unless I go and I consult, I go ask, because that's what you got to do. You got to, have people that you can talk to, mentors and peers, to talk to. But like ultimately, like you don't have a group of parents or some alumni or some donors, who come in, well, we want this, and this. Because like I told you, the pro level, or even at the college level, the money makes the decisions. So for me, starting off early in my career with not having a lot of financial backing, even when I got into a situation that was a little bit more, I had to let them know straight up. No amount of money you give is going to dictate who plays these games. And so what this book does, it helps for you to dig within yourself. What do I see? Who am I? How am I going to get there? And with that, it keeps the foundation to what it is that every time I make a decision, kids playing time, who's going to stay on the team, where we play, just whatever those things are, it helps to give you a ground basis for you to stand on, and then for you to grow and stand confident and strong as a coach. And it's not based on your record, because you have to know what success is. You got to know every season the type of team you have, the type of talent you have, the type of character you have, because my teams have typically overachieved based on what people thought was talented. We won a lot of games over the years that on paper the opponent was light years better. But it was because the foundation was set, the vision. Every single day we talk about those things. If you ever talk to my guys, I always, every day, habits, all the time. Attitude, all the time. Always gonna say those things and make sure I keep on. Because I heard Coach Errol Goff, who's down at Archbishop Hannon, he's the first coach to bust my head in the playoffs. We're good friends now. He's won 3 or 4 state championships as a coach at St. Thomas Aquinas at Archbishop Hannon. He also coached at Southeastern University. But after I lost to him in my first playoff game at Lakeview High School by 49 points, got his phone number after the game, and I went down and spent time with him. And he said, it's not what you teach, it's what you exercise. And so that was a ground basis for, over the years, as I compiled, different lessons and through the journey over the time, it's not what you teach, it's what you emphasize. So I put emphasis on character. I put emphasis on, said, look, your decision making on the court, I'm not looking at basketball, I'm looking at you as a person. why did you decide to make the decision against what we have worked on? So it's trying to help our young boys as men. You know, Darren, you know yourself, we're career men now. The stuff you learn playing football as a high school boy, and I don't think we didn't win a lot of games, but it's a lot of successful guys that came off that football field that you played with.
Absolutely.
With yourself. But it's because what the coaching staff emphasized, even through the losing, persevering, fighting back, not giving up, showing up every single day, having a good attitude. All those things right there come from vision, foundation, knowing who I am. Nobody can buck me. I know what I'm here for, and I know I'm here for you. I know you don't like the way it feels right now, but you're going to see it in a little while. It's going to start making sense to you. So, you know, when it comes down to that book, that's what it is. It's setting a foundation, starting off with your vision and who you are as a person.
Absolutely. Like I said, I am very, very honored to be able to have to sit down with you. And like I said, we've seen this young man, y'all, elevate from middle school. And it's something that I learned today. I've been following him for a long time. But like I said, I've gotten more information. And like I told him, I'm going to continue to follow his journey because you went from middle school to high school. Now you're on the college level. Like, I would love to see you in a professional league one day. You know, if that's your journey leads you, you know what I'm saying? That's the story. That's the biggest story ever. And I want to be able to say, look, I was there. I've been able to talk to him. I've been able to reach out and touch him. This man is the epitome of being a family man. Not only are you a speaker, author, coach, like I said, you are a father and a husband. Hey, man, like I said, we really appreciate you coming through to talk with us here before the vision, man. Is there anything that you want to leave with us before we close out this interview session?
Well, I guess I'll throw the plug in. If you're looking for the book, it's on Amazon.
Okay.
I have my own author page there, Eddie J. Hamilton. So if you would like to support, just $8.99. It's an ebook. It's a digital download to Kindle or to any, Kindle's a free app. So if you're already a Kindle subscriber, you can download for free. So please do go and download the book, Setting the Foundation for Your Athletics program on Amazon.com. I'm gonna be in some schools coming up soon, doing professional developments for coaches. I'm probably gonna do some webinars coming up as well. And this is the time to join them because the information right now that I have, like I said, I'll be traveling and sharing. So when you see the opportunity to join in, when I do my podcast, if I decide to do that again, or if I do live videos or I offer some type of webinar, coaches, any type of leaders, feel free to join in. I'm definitely looking forward to adding value to everybody who would like to have it. I'm not the guru, like I'm just another guy who's just sharing life experience that's helped me succeed doing what I do. And but I'll say this because I have to say this. Everything that I've been able to do to this point has been because of a relationship with Jesus Christ. I have to say that because of his mercy, I'm here and I have opportunity. No different from anybody else. Still have a long way to go. I'm praying for more and more years. And but give your heart to him. Like, seriously give your heart to him. Not just, go to church, but give your heart to him. And I promise you, he'll start to show you things about yourself that you never, ever, ever imagined. And I believe your dreams will come true once you do that. But I'm grateful to be here. Thank you so much, Darian, for sharing your platform.
Anytime.
This is definitely an honor. Man, watching you grow over the years has been amazing. When I started my podcast, I reached out to you.
I appreciate that.
With open arms, just say whatever I need, and you didn't have to do that. And I thank you. And but I'm very, very inspired by what you do and the lives you touch and what you do, man. I'm looking here with all the different people that's come through and been a part. I mean, you definitely impacted in your space. So, man, thank you so much for having me tonight. Appreciate
Man, thank you. And likewise and forever, man. Forever. Hey, y'all, I'm Shady Will, also known as Darren Willis, also known as D Will. Hey, this is before the vision. You already know when you get to call you up. Hey, we about to get up out of here. We go, holla!
Holla!